Hello, friends and music lovers. How you doing? Well, it's Wednesday night, 29th, I think it is. Actually, I guess it's the 30th now. It's Thursday morning. It's a little after 1. Anyway, I thought I would do a quick video of all my Anthony Phillips vinyl records. And so I have a couple of singles and I have a bunch of albums. This is going to be pretty quick. I'm going to go ahead and get started right now. And the first one we got here is Geese and the Ghost. First thing that he put out after he left Genesis back in 70 or 71. And this is a domestic on Passport. In fact, all of my records, most of them are, well, many of them are cutouts. But the Geese and the Ghost was on PVC Records. Oops, hold on. All right, so there's the label right there, PVC. What a beautiful label. And the record is absolutely mint. And the Geese and the Ghost was a pretty nice way to start off his solo career, because he got Phil Collins to sing on one or two songs on this one. Phil Collins vocals on Which Way the Wind Blows and God If I Saw Her Now. This came out in 77, I think. Yep. And it's a pretty nice album. It's like a soft album. Most of Anthony Phillips records are, actually most of them are instrumental records. His Private Parts and Pieces series, which I'll show you a bunch of stuff on vinyl I have. And in fact, what's playing now is Private Parts and Pieces 7. It's the CD version. But anyway, it's a good record, this thing. It's not a bad one to start off with if you're interested in checking out Genesis' first guitarist. This is not, his first album is not a bad one to start off with. It's got John Hackett on flutes. So there is definitely, oh, and Michael Rutherford is on here too, of course. Mike Rutherford worked with Ant Phillips a lot. Those guys were buddies. And he actually worked with him quite a bit. But it's cool that John Hackett's on here. You know, Steve Hackett's brother. And I think Steve and Anthony Phillips, that would be a really interesting collaboration. And I don't know if they've ever done anything together, actually. But I would think that would be pretty interesting. But anyway, this good album. And it does come with original pressings, anyway. Come with an inner sleeve that has lyrics and some notes about many of the tracks. All right, so PVC Records. This is nice. And of course the artwork by, I think it's Peter Cross. Excuse me. God. Cover design and art by Peter Cross. Peter Cross is all over Anthony Phillips' solo career. All the Private Parts and Pieces releases. Not all of them, but most of them. All right, so the Geese and the Ghost. This is, as far as I'm concerned, by far, this is Anthony Phillips' best release. It is just fantastic. And Anthony Phillips Works with Michael Giles on the drums, John G. Perry on bass, the Vicar on guitars, keyboards, and sundries. I don't know who the Vicar is. I think it's Anthony Phillips, isn't it? Yeah, it's Anthony Phillips. He works with Mel Collins, soprano sax on We're All As We Lie, flutes on Birdsong and Tremulous. And Rupert Hine works with him on this album, percussion, backing vocals. But anyway, this is actually again, it's a cutout, but it is a picture disc that my brother got me for Christmas back in 79 or 80. My brother Dave picked this up for me. And I went, wow, because I didn't know anything about Anthony Phillips back then. I wasn't really paying attention, man. I was into Genesis. And I did like Trespass, but, you know, I was a Steve Hackett fan. But look at this record. Beautiful record. And what's great about this record, this is an old picture disc. Old picture discs, they tend to be really noisy. I mean, really noisy. Lots of pops and ticks and just all kinds of horrible surface noise. This one has a little bit of surface noise, but it's actually very playable. I play this record. I must have played it at least 10 times, maybe a dozen times. But it's really pretty quiet, which is why I would bother to put it on my turntable and put the needle on it and play it. All right, so, but anyway, this has, I don't know, man, this is just, I think the songs on here are great. I think Anthony Phillips, who's not very fond of his vocals, his voice, I think he sings beautifully on this album. Here, let me pull this out too. Comes with this lyric sheet. And the artwork, again, by Peter Cross is just fantastic. This guy is just amazing what this guy has done. I love this guy's work. And I'm forever grateful to my brother for picking this up for me. This is such a cool release. And actually, I think you could probably score this pretty cheaply on online. Go on Discogs if you're looking for it. Picture disc. And pick this up. I wouldn't mind actually getting an import copy of this. But I'm real happy with this one. So I tend to like to get those UK imports with my British bands, considering it's coming from their home turf. All right, the next studio album, Sides. All right, now he's getting a little bit more commercial, but but look at the artwork. I mean, this is just beautiful. Peter Cross is a genius. He is absolutely brilliant. And I think the album sides are, yeah, first half, second half. This is, again, this is a domestic release, but it is not a cutout. This has the hit song, the hit song and Arg is on here. Two sides. And Arg. All right, so the inner sleeve has all the lyrics. This happens to be on Passport Records, so the Passport label, which you'll see. But this is it's a bit of a poppy album, but I like it. I actually like this record and have played it quite a bit. Oh, and fans of Brand X, Morris Pert is on here. Michael Giles again on the drums, at least on some of the drums. Morris Pert. Yeah. Okay. Anthony Phillips. Whoops. Anthony Phillips actually plays keyboards on Mike Rutherford's album, Small Creeps Day, which is something that, if you're a Genesis fan, if you don't have that, that's surprising. I think it's one of the best solo albums by a Genesis member of Genesis. All right. Oh. Huh. Just checking it out. The next studio album, Invisible Men, and now this is really a collaboration with Richard Scott, and again, it's a cutout. Again, it's on this is on Passport Records, and quite frankly, I think it's rather a weak album, but after Wise After the Event, his second album, the one with the squirrel on it, man, it's hard to compare anything to that album. It's hard for it to stand up because that's just such a great record. Here you go, Passport Records, side one. But this is really, yeah, I guess it's kind of an extension of Sides to some degree, but it's probably not his best. Let's see here. Let's put it back. All right. That was a domestic release of the album. This is a 12-inch single that has a couple of non-album tracks. Has Sally on the A side. Poppy little tune. It's called Sally. And it's got on the B side, Woman We're Watching, an Exochet. I'm not sure how to say it. Okay. And this is Street Tunes. Is that the name of the label? Street Tunes? Neat looking little label. Nice label anyway. Nice 12-inch record with 3 tracks. All right, so all right. The Anthony Phillips Band. Yeah, sure. Anthony Phillips Band. Okay. Here's 1984. This actually came out in 81. 3 years too early. And Gem Record sticker. No fancy inner sleeve with this. It's only really 4 tracks. It's Prelude, 84, 1984 Part 1, which is 19 minutes. A lot of synthesizer stuff on here. And then on side 2, it's 1984 Part 2. And then Anthem 1984, which is just about 2.5 minutes long. So, a lot of synthesizers and what does it actually say that he plays on here? Keyboards, drum box. It's a Rollins CR78. I think that might be the same thing that Phil Collins was using. In fact, I don't wonder if he maybe borrowed it from Phil. Probably not. Phil was he was pretty busy with that thing. Occasional guitar and basic percussion. And Richard Scott played a little bit on here, had some vocal ideas. Morris Pert was also on here, playing some percussion. But it's a lot of keyboards, a lot of synth. So, whoops. That's Anthony Phillips, 1984. And now we get to Private Parts and Pieces. And as a matter of fact, this one's not a cutout at all. Now, this actually came out when he released Sides in England. He made this. Here we go. When he made this album, he released it. It was a limited release with Sides, Private Parts and Pieces 1, or I should just say Private Parts and Pieces. Okay, I don't know if he was planning on doing a series at the time that he put this record together. This is great because it's literally just little bits of songs. Well, some pieces are a little bit longer than others, but yeah, you can see that there's an association with Sides because the A side is called the home side. This is a domestic copy, and yet the A side is called home side. The B side is called the away side. So, but this came out in '78, and this was a domestic release, like I said. Here on PVC Records. Okay. Mint. The records are mint. And I like the Private Parts and Pieces series. I like, the fact that you put the record on and you don't know what you're going to hear, man. This is some good stuff. Just bits of ideas that he recorded. I think on this one, actually, I suppose that on this one, yeah, it looks like Harry Williamson helped him compose. Helped him produce a little bit too. And Michael Rutherford helped him on Field of Eternity, which is one of the tracks on here. But it's a nice record. What I love, of course, is the artwork. Peter Cross is just amazing. And the artwork is just striking. And it's the reason that I like having these releases on LP. All right, so anyway, that's Private Parts and Pieces. In '78, he released it with Sides. In England, in America, it was released by itself. All right. Then Private Parts and Pieces 2, Back to the Pavilion. This came out in '80. Again, on PVC records and tapes. Okay. I'm not going to pull it out. You know what that looks like. And there's no inner sleeve, but the record cover's got everything you need. It's got beautiful art, and it's got lots of notes. All right, so this is subtitled Back to the Pavilion. And this has, I'm pretty sure that this has a little bit of Phil Collins on the drums on some tracks. Oh, take it back. Andy McCulloch. Andy McCulloch is on drums and percussion. Could have sworn that Phil played on one of these. Maybe it was an assumption on my part. I'm not finding Phil's name on here. I guess when Phil worked with Anthony Phillips, basically he just sang. And Michael Giles, or Michael Giles, however you say his name, played on a couple of his albums. So, Private Parts and Pieces 3, Antiques. And on this album, he works with Enrique Barro Garcia, classical guitar. So they work together on this. Anthony Phillips plays classical 12 and 6-string guitars and bass guitar. And Enrico plays classical 12-string and electric. All right, so there's that. There's the back. Again, just beautiful artwork by Peter Cross. He's got to be one of my favorite record cover artists. And it looks so beautiful on this 12-inch package. All right, that's 3. Here's 4. Private Parts and Pieces 4, A Catch at the Tables. This is not a cutout. And as a matter of fact, the first 4 are not cutouts. All right, but anyway, there's, it almost reminds me of Kim Poor. Look at Steve Hackett's X Prize. And man, look at this. Almost, I mean, Kim Poor's work is just magnificent as well. All right, so, but anyway, here you go. Yeah, this is good stuff. Mostly instrumental. I would like to dedicate this album to all my friends scattered by the winds of change, now living in North and South America. Yeah, Anyway, it's a beautiful record. PVC records. Oops. All right. This one is actually Cherry Red Records. And this came out, it's a compilation that came out in '85. And it is, it's called Harvest of the Heart. It's just a single album that came out back in '85. Now, Anthony Phillips, about 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, released a 5 CD, I think it's 5 CD compilation called Harvest of the Heart. And so he just reused the title, man. This is just a compilation that came out in England on Cherry Red Records. And it's got tracks from the first 4 albums, but it's also got 2 previously unreleased tracks at the time, 2 previously unreleased tracks. So back in 1985 when I saw this, I said, "Ooh, let me get that." I was a completist way back then, of course, and had to get this. So this is kind of a neat little item. At this time, everything that's on here you can get on CD. But I thought this was real sweet when I got it. Cherry Red Records. They're no slouches when it comes to a nice pressing. And there you have it. And this record is in absolute mint shape. I played it probably maybe 3 times, if I played it at all. Maybe 3 times. But look at the label. Nice custom label. All right, so got a lined inner sleeve for it. Of course, it's not a cutout. I paid a lot of money for this, man, when this came out. I think I must have paid probably 12 or 15 bucks for it back in '85. I think. Or did I find it at Cheap Thrills, maybe, in New Brunswick? Or maybe I found it at another record store. This one is Private Parts and Pieces 5. This came out in 1984, actually. Wow, this came out before Harvest of the Heart, but there's no tracks from this album on there. And this is simply called, well, it's Private Parts and Pieces 5, but it's called 12. It's got a musical piece for every month of the year. So, you know, each side has 6 tracks. The pieces are rather quiet, so they were able to squeeze them all on because, you know, they're not short pieces, man. These are 5 minutes, 6 minutes long. January is 5:57. February is 4:38. We're talking almost, 30 minutes on a side. Oh. Ooh. Looks like there's a horrible scratch on it. Now, I don't think that is audible. Wow, I don't like seeing that scratch though. Anyway, and the B-side toward the center, it has a little bit of what appears to be a nasty scratch, but I don't believe it's audible. July, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And December is 6 minutes and 21 seconds. So we're talking 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 6. It's like 85 minutes. But anyway, just a beautiful album of 12 different guitar pieces. This way. '84 this came out. Oh, and again, this freaking artwork, man, it's like sweet. And in England, when they put this out on CD, I think it was Voice Print put it out, and it has this right on the CD itself. You know, this would have made a beautiful picture disc for sure. But and there he is, the man on the back right there. A collection of pieces for solo 12-string guitar, and that's all it is. 12 different pieces on 12-string guitar. All right. And here is Private Parts and Pieces 6, Ivory Moon. This is mostly, I think it's all piano. All piano pieces, yep. Recorded from 1971 through 85. So some of these pieces go back a ways. But again, you know, yep. Peter Cross. Again, with the just beautiful work, man. Beautiful artwork. PVC Records. Again. And the last one I have on vinyl, and I think it might be the last one that was released on vinyl. So, what is it? Slow Waves, Soft Stars, Private Parts and Pieces 7. No Peter Cross, unless he took the picture. I'm not sure. And this is what you're hearing now in the background. But this album is dedicated to the lady who is no stranger to paradise. And this was released March 1987. And man, I don't know, that's a beautiful picture anyway. Beautiful photograph. Moody. It's a moody freaking record. And it is not on PVC Records. It's on a label called it's from Gem Records, actually, and it's on a label called Audion. It's got a nice vacuum tube in the middle. Audion Records. All right. I remember this pressing to be just a little bit noisy when I first got it in the first place. But a few pops and ticks. But anyway, this is my Anthony Phillips 12-inch collection, and got a few singles. I'll show them to you now. This is from what is it called? This is from Wise After the Event, and it is We're All As We Lie, a domestic single. These used to be a dime a dozen. You could find these things, and it's actually got a non-album B-side called Squirrel, and on the inner sleeve for Wise After the Event, it's got the lyrics on that lyric lyric insert. It's got the lyrics for Squirrel. So, and then it's got a piece called Sitars and Nebulous, which is actually a track that's on Private Parts and Pieces 2. So kind of like a little EP. But anyway, it actually it's got a lot of music on it. Squirrel is actually a relatively long piece of music. But anyway, this is a stock copy. And I managed to find a promotional copy that's in really, really good shape. It's got exactly the same music on it. I think, is this mono? No, it's stereo. It's stereo both sides. And it's got Squirrel and Sitars and Nebulas is on the B side. So it's an unusual promotional record, as it has that non-album B side as well. Usually it's stereo and mono, you know, white label pressing. Loan for promotion only, not for sale. So I think I'm supposed to give this back. I don't think that's going to happen. No offense. But we're all as we lie. And it is an edited version of the album track. It's the same recording, just edited down. And the last thing I have to show you is I'm an Arg, the single from Sides. This is a British single. A nice little picture sleeve. I remember picking this up and thinking, neat. Okay. And I'm an Arg. And Souvenirs. Another non-album track. Souvenirs. Now this is from Sides, which was the album cover was sports related. And it's got Souvenirs on the B side. Okay. And this happens to be a very clean copy. It's, I would say, near mint. Anyway, that's my collection of vinyl featuring Anthony Phillips, or Ant Phillips. And that's it. So maybe I'll do another one for CDs, but I got a lot of catching up to do. I got to do Who, I got to do Zappa, I got to do The Pretenders. Let's see when I ever get to those. All right, have a nice one. Nice talking to you.